let's just cut to the video. So as long as we're above the 20 EMA on the monthly time frame, we're in a bull market. And so last month we broke back above it, retested the 55. I'm not expecting a break of it because you don't break it on the first attempt. Here we were already above, we got there and then got rejected. Now we're back above, and now this is the first attempt of it. We've come back down, and as long as we can stay above this, this is bullish for Firo, and that's $6.60. So we must close in the next 4 or 5 days above $6.60. So let's take a look at the daily time frame. Put on the drawings. So on the daily time frame, we had this rising wedge. Your technical target was down here at the swing low. You met that over here. You also had your monthly 20 EMA here, so that's why it's probably come down to it. And since then, you're making higher highs and higher lows. So of course, this is very nice, but we have to always look at Bitcoin, because if Bitcoin wants to go down, it'll drag everything down. So I'm going to turn off the EMAs because I don't need them at the moment. They're just in the way. So right now we have this ascending triangle over here, and you're in that, and we're just basically going hitting support and resistance until we reach the apex and break out, of course. And then I've given you a technical target out of that at around $15 okay, but that's only once you break above $9.65. once that's validated, and of course you can get above it and fall below and it invalidates that, but as long as you stay in the pattern, you will eventually break out. Of course, because it's bullish doesn't mean it has to break out to the upside. It can break to the downside. And look how many times we've bounced off in this location over here. The more times you bounce from it, the weaker it gets, just like this location over here. Every time you came to it, the bounces got weaker and weaker and smaller. So this is not what we want to see in this location. Of course, if Bitcoin wants to carry on going down, this will too. You're in this sort of like a ascending channel at the moment, so if you do lose that support, you could come back to the low of it, and that's sitting at $6.60. so you could fall to $6.60 again, and we must see that hold in the next 4 or 5 days. So I'm going to take a look at Bitcoin with you guys, because Bitcoin's the most important coin. So I'm going to take the fibs off for a second, put them back on. So yeah, we had some bearish pattern, met your target down here, then you formed an ascending triangle. Let's go to the 4 hour. You formed this ascending triangle over here, a larger one. We had a smaller one, but then we met that target, and then we had a large one where we broke out of. When we broke out, you never back tested at support. So this is like basically giving us high chances that we're going to come back and retest this and find support. Now, every trader, or as CoinSkid will say, every man and his dog, was expecting the pullback to here for this to hold, and then continuation to this short-term target, which brought you above 60k, creating this double bottom with a target at, and once you broke above 60k with a target at 65k. But of course, that didn't happen. As soon as you came back to the support, you didn't hold it as support, you lost it, and you also lost the ascending triangle support, invalidating your bullish targets. So now you need to get rid of this. I need to get rid of it because it's not happening anymore, unfortunately. So what this means is everyone was expecting this to happen, where this was wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and everyone thought this was wave 5. I did myself, CoinSkid, Kyle the Moon, everyone's thinking, because this is a double bottom, this is a bottoming out structure, and so the target was above this, and so that should have confirmed the double bottom. But what's happened is you got rejected slightly before, you came back down to this swing high, and you lost the support of it, and you had that ascending support, which you also lost the support of, which is bearish, and now you've made a lower low. So that means that this whole area was wave 4 pullback, sorry, and now we're going into wave 5. In my first video when we started dipping, I told you guys that we must stay above 500 on the daily time frame, and if you don't, you cause a massive M pattern to play out, validating its target to the downside here at 49k or something like that, 49k. And I turn on the EMAs and go to the daily. That's where your 200 EMA is. So make sure you get 200 EMA on your charts, because look over here, when you lost the 55, where did we come to? The 200. So it's highly likely now, even though I don't want it to happen, that we come down here. I'll show you some potential ways we can break back up, and that's this a descending, a falling, broadening wedge, basically, where you're hitting resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance, support, and the moves are getting bigger to the downside, but eventually you get a pump, break resistance, confirm it as support, and then head off. And I'd of course love that to happen before we get down here. But if you lose this support over here, which is this descending support, then we will come down to these further down targets, and that's why I put the wave 5 there. Of course, we could stop off here right now and then get back above the 58.5k. Once we're above 58.5, that's when I would say, yep, dip is done. And that's what we did yesterday, guys. That's what we did yesterday. We got above, and I was so bullish yesterday, and then the bears came out the window. I hope it's not another black swan because of the new COVID variant. It's just bloody ridiculous, isn't it, man? This COVID nonsense. It's so annoying. So let's go to look at the fib levels. So yeah, I'm going to measure this pump that we had yesterday, in the last few days, sorry. And the one is at 55,500. So when we started dipping, I did say that I would like to see 54,500 hold, and that's where we've bounced off at the moment. Now, just because we bounced off there doesn't mean that it's the end of the dip. I do not like how big this candle is to the downside. This is something called a bearish engulfing. You actually had one right here, but it didn't last too long. But look, you still got a downtrend, short-term downtrend, A, B, C, before continuation. But then you got another bearish engulfing over here, and what happened after? Boom, 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 boom. Bearish engulfing. What happened after? Boom, boom. Bearish engulfing. You know the rest. So when you see these candles, look at that, bearish engulfing. When the red one eats the green one, basically the red has to eat a green one, not red eating red, red eating green, and that's a bearish engulfing. So that's like a bearish reversal pattern, because we were bullish here, we're going up again, breaking above this key level of resistance, and all we need to do then is flip it into support, which you didn't do. But if you confirm that as support, then obviously it would have been out of here, and then you would have broken 60k, taking us to 65k. But that wasn't the case, guys. And so now that we've lost the one, even if we get back above the one on the daily time frame, I'm going to tell you straight, we're going to continue down. Why? Because you've printed that bearish engulfing, which is a bearish continuation pattern / bearish reversal in this case, because we were coming up and it's reversed it now. So yeah, it's not the best chart. Of course, the only thing backing us up right now is the broadening falling wedge, which I hope to break out of. But you could come all the way to the end. Could keep coming all the way to the end, and look where that is. Basically at 50k, you know what I mean? 49k, and that lines up with the daily 200 anyway. The longer you come down, the higher that 200 comes up. So obviously we just wanted to get over and done with. Everyone does. So look how close you are to forming that bearish cross on the daily time frame. The last time you did it was a quick fake out, which you might get again, because obviously you want to put fear into people. But the last time it actually worked out was over here, and that was the nasty multi-month downtrend from May until like July. So yeah, it's not looking the best at the moment. Oh, sorry. We've got further targets to the downside. At the moment, I'm seeing that if we do lose the one, which we have, even if you don't, we're still going to come down. I'm seeing the 1618 coming in to step up at 52,800. If you lose that, you're coming down to these targets, and that's lining up with our M patterns target down at 49 to 50k. I hope you guys understood that. Let's go back to Firo. Yeah, it's not looking the best, because you could say that this is a potential head and shoulders now. So if you do lose $6.60, that's when I go bearish, but we know that anyway, because you don't want to lose $6.60 on the monthly time frame. So we've got 4 days to sort this out, basically, guys. Of course, this has to do it on one of the best months in Bitcoin's history. I think only before this year, but obviously we're bearish for the month, but before this year, I'm certain that 12 out of 13 years Bitcoin was bullish in November, and only once it was bearish. And of course, it has to be the second time bearish. What I do like is you come to the swing low, you're holding that, and that's in line with our uptrend, which is part of that massive ascending triangle. But I'm not going to be bullish until I see Bitcoin going back up. At the moment, I'm short-term bearish. We got bearish targets. The daily is not looking good. Let's check the daily on here. Yeah, that's not good at all. You had a evening star or doji at resistance, and that's why you're coming down now, printing an engulfing pattern. So this is not bullish at all in the short term. We must see this hold. If not, it's kaput. But this is not the top of the market at all. Never topped out like this in the history. So I wouldn't be selling. So nothing to worry about. Obviously, we just need Bitcoin to get back above 58,500, and yeah, that's it. The giveaway winner was Will Pryor. So message me on Twitter or just comment on the post on Twitter, and then I'll get you set up tonight because I'm out today shopping, which is annoying because I was gonna spend my cryptos, but they're down now. I don't really want to take profits and spend them. So, oh guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.